He's me, see? No, I don't. Well, I'll explain back in my room. The smell's getting to me. Once we've left, the ghoul's going to come down here and live in my room. I think he's really looking forward to it. Well, it's hard to tell because all he can do is moan and drool, but he nods a lot when you mention it. Anyway, he's going to be me with Spattergroin. Good, eh? It is. Look, when we three don't turn up at school, everyone's going to think Hermione and I must be with you, right? Which means the Death Eaters will go straight for our families to see if they got information on where we are. But hopefully it'll like I've gone away with Mum and Dad. A lot of Muggle-borns are in hiding at the moment. Well, we can't hide my entire family. It'll look too fishy, and they can't leave their jobs. So we're going to put the story that I'm seriously ill with Spattergroin, which is why I can't go back to school. If anyone comes calling to investigate, Mum or Dad can show them the ghoul in my bed covered in pustules. Spattergroin's extremely contagious, so they're not going to want to get near him. It won't matter that he can't say anything either, because apparently you can't once the fungus has spread over your uvula. Your Mum and Dad and everybody are on this plan. Dad is. He helped Fred and George transform him into the ghoul. Well, Mum, you see, you've seen what she's like. She won't accept that we're going anyway. And she's too young to come down on her own. Well, guess it's not going to help Mum's stress level. What we really need to decide is where we're going to go when we leave. You know, I know you said you wanted to go to Godric's Hollow first, Harry, and I understand why, but, well, shouldn't we make the Horcruxes our priority? If we knew where any of the Horcruxes were, I'd agree with you. Do you think it's a possibility that Voldemort's keeping a watch on Godric's Hollow? He might expect you to go back there and visit your parents' graves once you're free to go wherever you like. This R.A.B. person, you know, the one who stole the real locket? He said in the note he was going to destroy it, didn't he? Well, what if he did finish it off? Or she? Whichever. It'd be one less for us to do. Yeah, but we're still going to have to try and trace the real locket down, aren't we? To find out whether or not it's destroyed. And once we've got hold of it, how do you destroy a Horcrux? Well, I've been researching that. How? I didn't think there were any books on Horcruxes in the library. There weren't. Dumbledore removed them all, but he didn't destroy them. How in the name of Merlin's pants have you managed to get your hands on those Horcrux books? It wasn't stealing. They were still library books, even if Dumbledore had taken them off the shelves. Anyway, if he really didn't want anyone to get at them, I'm sure he would have made it much harder to. What did you do? Get to the point. Well, it was easy. I just did a summoning charm, you know, Accio, and they zoomed right out of Dumbledore's study window right into the girls' dormitory. But when did you do this? Right after Dumbledore's funeral. Right after we'd agreed we'd leave school. Well, when I went back upstairs to get my things, it just occurred to me that we need to know more about them. The better it would be, you know. And I was there alone, so I tried, and it worked. They flew straight into the open window, and I packed them. I can't believe Dumbledore wouldn't have been angry. It's not as though we're going to use the information to make a Horcrux, isn't it? Can you hear us complaining? Where were the books anyway? This is one that gives explicit instructions on how to make a Horcrux. Secrets of the Dark Arts. It's a horrible book. Oh, it's really awful. Full of evil magic. I wonder when Dumbledore removed it from the library. If he didn't do it until he was a headmaster, I bet Voldemort got all the instruction he needed from here. But why did he have to ask Slughorn to make a Horcrux then, if he really had read that? He only approached Slughorn to find out what would happen if you split your soul into 7. Dumbledore was sure Riddle already knew how to make a Horcrux by the time he asked Slughorn about them. I think you're right, Hermione. That could have easily been where he got the information. And I read more about them, the more horrible they seem, and the less I can believe that he actually made 6. It warns in this book how unstable to make your rest of your soul by splitting it, and that's just by making one Horcrux. Isn't there any way of putting yourself back together? Yes, but it would be excruciatingly painful. Why? How do you do it? Remorse. You've got to really feel what you've done is wrong. There's a footnote. Apparently, the pain of it can destroy you. I can't see Voldemort attempting it somehow. Can you? No. So, does it say how to destroy Horcruxes in that book? Yes, because it warns dark wizards how strong they have to make the enchantments on them. From all I've read, what Harry did to Riddle's diary was one of the few really foolproof ways of destroying a Horcrux. What, stabbing it with a basilisk fang? Oh, well, lucky we've got such a large supply of basilisk fangs then. I was wondering what we were going to do with all of them. It doesn't have to be killed by a basilisk fang. It has to be something so destructive that the Horcrux can't repair itself. Basilisk venom only has one antidote, and it's incredibly rare. Phoenix tears. Exactly. Our problem is that there are very few substances as destructive as basilisk venom, and they're all dangerous to carry around with you. That's a problem we're going to have to solve, though, because ripping it, smashing it, or crushing the Horcrux won't do the trick. You have to put it beyond magical repair. But even if the wreck it's living in lives, why can't the bit of soul in it just go and live someplace else? Because a Horcrux is the complete opposite of a human being. Look, if I picked up a sword right now, Ron, and ran you through with it, it wouldn't damage your soul at all. Which would be a real comfort to me, I'm sure. It would be, actually. But my point is, whatever happens to your body, your soul will survive, untouched. But it's the other way around with the Horcrux. The fragment of soul inside depends on its container, its enchanted body for survival. It can't exist without it. The diary that sort of died when I stabbed it. And once the diary was properly destroyed, the bit of soul trapped in it could no longer exist. Ginny tried to get rid of it in the diary, before you did, flushing it away, but obviously it came back good as new. Hang on, the bit of soul in the diary was possessing Ginny, wasn't it? How does that work? Well, the magical container is still intact. The bit of soul inside can flit out of someone if they get too close to the object, and I don't mean holding it for too long. It's nothing to do with touching it. I mean close emotionally. Ginny poured her heart into that diary. She made herself completely vulnerable. If you're in trouble and you get too fond or dependent on the Horcrux, you're in big trouble. I wonder how Dumbledore destroyed the ring. Why didn't I ask him? I never really... I'm sorry to break up this cozy little gathering. I'm sure you all need your rest. But there are wedding presents stacked in my room that need sorting out, and I was under the impression that you agreed to help. Oh yes, we will. We're sorry. It's like being a house elf. I swear, the faster this wedding's over, the happier I'll be. Oh yeah, there'll be nothing left to do except to find Horcruxes. It'll be like a holiday, won't it? Mama! Papa! You are being too much trouble. Fleur tells me you've been working very hard. Oh, it's been nothing. No trouble at all. Dear lady, we are most honoured at the approaching union of our two families. Let me present my wife, Apolline. Enchantée. Your husband has been telling us such amusing stories. And of course, my daughter, Gabrielle. Well, do come in. But she still won't leave us alone. Oh, good, you've fed the chickens. We better shut them away again before the men arrive tomorrow to put them in the tent for the wedding. Minimum magic marquise, that's very good. Bill's escorting them. You'd better stay inside while they're here, Harry. I must say, it does complicate organizing a wedding, having all these security spells around the place. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, no, don't be silly, dear. I didn't mean... Well, your safety is much more important. Actually, I've been wanting to ask you how you wanted to celebrate your birthday. Harry, 17 after all. It's an important day. I don't want any fuss. Really, Mrs. Weasley, just a normal dinner will be fine. It's the day before the wedding. Oh, well, if you're sure, dear. I'll invite Remus and Tonks, shall I? Oh, and how about Hagrid? That'd be great, but please don't go to loads of trouble. No trouble at all, dear. It's no trouble.